Hello and welcome to our radio. I'm your host Sakalin and today is 30th October 2020. Well, there was an important headline in the Hindu newspaper on the first page. It was that the center is setting up a new commission to tackle the NCR pollution or the air pollution in the Delhi NCR region. There was a body called as the EPCA or the Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority, which now stands dissolved, and a new body has come into picture. Before we go there, let me tell you something about EPCA. EPCA was constituted under the Section 3 of the Environment Protection Act 1986, especially for the National Capital Region in accordance with the Supreme Court order. Now, this body had the powers to take actions on the basis of complaints and play an important role in policy formation, regulation, coordination, etc. But this body did not do the best or could not play a very prominent role. Hence, the center has dissolved this body and the new body called as the Commission for Air Quality Management in the NCR region has been brought out. Well, this Commission for the Air Quality Management is not only limited to NCR region but also to several regions adjoining it like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. Now, this body has some important roles to play. Firstly, it helps in coordination among the states. It has the power to levy fines and it has the power to constitute special investigation groups with regards to the problem. So it has more powers than the EPCA. Now, this body has been brought into picture through an ordinance of the central government, and now the body needs the formal perusal of the Supreme Court. A formal perusal of Supreme Court is awaited and rest of the things will be taken forward. It's a 6-member body consisting of several members from the ministry level and from the state, that is the 6 members, and there is a chairman who is a former secretary level officer. It has a central branch in Delhi and it has state level branches as well. So please remember this. A Commission for Air Quality Management has been brought out in NCR region as well as region adjoining it like Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Talking about pollution in NCR region, we have to understand what is the most important and the most major cause for the pollution in the NCR region. Well, it's the stubble burning. You must have heard of stubble burning. Stubble burning is when you have the crop that's been procured and the leftover crop on the field becomes the stubble there or becomes the straw there that is left on the ground. So when it's left on the ground, farmers have a simple solution, a quick solution, that is burning it. Now when they burn it, it emits immense amount of smoke which causes air pollution. Now it is to be noted that this article that I'm talking about in the Hindu newspaper says Green Revolution provided a nice field for stubble burning to grow. Why? Because Green Revolution provided the growth or helped in propelling the growth of produce like wheat and rice. And this stubble burning is predominantly related to wheat. And this led to stubble burning in the country as this was the low cost solution that the farmers could afford and it's very, very quick. It's predominantly related to North Indian regions because it mostly happens there as the wheat is grown. It's a temperate crop and it happens there and it releases harmful gases, greenhouse gases and heavy pollution that blankets the Indo-Gangetic Plain and regions of North India. It must also be noted that stubble burning not only impacts the environment with the air pollution or with the greenhouse gas emissions, but also it impacts the soil fertility as it destroys the organic fertility of the soil. It reduces the groundwater levels as well. Now, if you talk about the current scenario where people are facing a pandemic like COVID-19, which predominantly affects the lungs of the people and it affects the breathing system of the people, if there is existence of stubble burning which is leading to air pollution, it becomes very difficult for the people to come out of this problem. Now, what are the steps taken by the government to stop stubble burning? First, in the year 2013, Punjab government banned stubble burning. And then in the year 2015, NGT or the National Green Tribunal banned stubble burning in several regions. And it asked for several alternatives like the happy seeder technology that could be provided and which could remove the straw from the ground on the most immediate time. Then, of course, it was a part of the IPC, the Indian Penal Code, Section 188 made it an offence. Then later intervened the Supreme Court, which set up a one-man committee to suggest steps to curb stubble burning. There was an app which was developed which spoke about identification of those people, and if you're around the region and if you see someone burning stubble, you can immediately report it in the app and that can be tackled. Then this Supreme Court committee that I spoke about, a one-man committee, was replaced by the Union government, which set up a permanent commission to find a solution to this problem. Now with regards to this, we have one revolutionary steps that being brought out. It is called as the PUSA Decomposer. PUSA, PUSA Decomposer, developed or being developed by Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Now this PUSA Decomposer is nothing but capsules or tablets. They are made of fungi strains. These tablets are made up of fungi strains that will help the paddy straw to decompose at a faster rate than usual. The simple point is that there is no burning required. If you add these capsules through a spray of sorts, the paddy straw will decompose. Let me give you a little bit of detailed explanation. The decomposers are in the form of a capsule and they are made by extracting fungi strains that will help the paddy straw to decompose at a much faster rate than usual. The fungi helps to produce essential enzymes for the degradation process. It will rule out the need to burn the stubble and also helps to retain essential microbes and nutrients that are damaged otherwise. Now this mixture is a liquid formulation using decomposer capsules and fermenting it for over 8 to 10 days, which can be sprayed on the fields with the crop stubble, and there will be speedy decomposition of this stubble. Now this will take around 20 days for decomposition, and in general circumstances it takes over 45 days. So again, it saves the time for the farmers and it saves them the money as well. We have to understand here that it has a lot of benefits because it improves the soil fertility and productivity, and it can help as a cheaper alternative, as a doable alternative, and something practical in nature. Most importantly, it's eco-friendly and it reduces air pollution in the environment. Well, lastly, we can discuss about Indo-US partnership. In this article, the author talks about the defense partnership of India and USA and gives us like a timeline about how our defense partnership has evolved and how other things have contributed to it. Let us see the timeline. Let's start with the year 1991, where the Kicklighter proposal came, and this Kicklighter proposal was a planned coordination between USA and three services of India, the tri-services of India, namely Army, Navy and Air Force. So this came together as the first ever thing, and then we jumped to year 1995, where the first time ever defense secretary level dialogue took place and a technology group was formed. Then 3 years down the lane, 1998, nuclear tests happened, and these nuclear tests turned out to be problematic because USA imposed sanctions on these nuclear tests, and these sanctions kind of stalled India-US relations, and it took us 2 years to get rid of them and 18 round talks to get rid of them. And former Minister of External Affairs, late Mr. Jashwant Singh, played a very important role when it comes to this removing of sanctions. Now, after removing of sanctions, after a few years, in the year 2005, the sanctions were officially lifted and a 10-year framework for defense was signed. 2005, very important. And then we come to 2013, where a joint declaration of defense was signed, and then we jump straight to 2015, which renewed this 10-year framework for defense. Now this framework for defense provided us a lot of opportunities, provided us a lot of services from USA. Now this included joint exercises that we conduct with USA. It included intelligence exchange. It included joint military training or joint training in multinational operations like disaster relief, disaster management, humanitarian approach, humanitarian mechanisms, humanitarian relief, etc., etc. And then after a lot of collaboration and help and friendship, in the year 2008, the most important milestone called as the India-US Civil Nuclear Deal was signed. And this propelled all these things together. The nuclear deal helped us to have great relations with each other. Well, you can also talk about how trade and commerce between India and USA added to this. And also you can talk about the various high-level exchanges that we had with USA, starting from the P.V. Narasimha Rao government, then came the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, and then the Manmohan Singh government, and finally the Modi government. The Modi government actually has brought an overhauling change in this aspect, because from the Obama regime to the Trump regime, we have explored new areas. most important example is the joint strategic vision for the Asia Pacific, or of course in the Indian Ocean region. And then you can talk about the Quad as well. Now we have the BECA that we signed, Basic Exchange Cooperation Agreement, that will help us to get access to the geospatial intelligence and such technologies. Please understand that India is neither an ally or neither an adversary of the USA. Why is it not an ally? Because a definition of an ally is very different. An ally will never have friends, will never make friends with your enemies. And India has great friends, is great friends with Russia and Iran. So India is neither an ally nor an adversary. It's an engaging equal partner and a major defense partner for USA. USA has supported us a lot in several things like joining the Australia group, the Wassenaar arrangement, the MTCR, the Quad, and now USA has welcomed us in the Five Eyes intelligence group. And this is intelligence group for intelligence sharing between 5 countries: Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK and USA. So USA has welcomed us there as well. Well, there are a lot of labels that we have with the India-US relationships, but we have to move ahead from these labels and have a better and a good relationship. We should not keep them in our bad books, or we should mend whatever the bridges that we have created with them, the problematic ones, and together we can have an equal, prosperous world order. Well, that's it for today's Our Radio. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned to RS Agarwal's IAS. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.